Arsenal eyeing Victor Osimhen for the 2024 transfer summer, and you might think that this story is gonna hate to come in early, but why don't teams make scouting before even they go into that summer transfer window? Remember, in the January transfer window, we brought you a story about Declan Rice, and it was broken by one of the credible journalists I've gonna hate to see in this era, that is David Austin, that the priority signing for Arsenal is going to be none other than Declan Rice. So that was like 6 months to the opening of the transfer window, and that's when it opened up and things really went on as planned, and Arsenal got in their priority summer transfer target. So welcome to Rokani Media Football. Hope you guys are really doing fine. We are here to bring you the latest news and information as far as this channel is concerned, and we are talking Victor Osimhen into this scenario. We are going to break it down and see whether it really makes perfect sense for Arsenal to obviously go in and bring in Victor Osimhen. Some will call it a hypothetical, but I don't term it as so, because I know that next summer Arsenal are going to spend big on a center forward. Then Ange Postecoglou has gone ahead and obviously warned the fans of Tottenham Hotspur not to raise their expectations. Remember, this comes in through when Arsenal is preparing to host Tottenham Hotspur on Sunday at the Emirates Stadium. And he has gone ahead to talk about Richarlison and how he expects him to become a good player. And lastly, we are going to discuss about Xavi talking about Ferran Torres as his time is on to obviously shine at Barcelona, and Xavi has gone ahead to promise him that this is your time. I'm going to give you enough playing time that you've gone ahead to desire and calling for at the club of Barcelona. So good morning. We thank God for the gift of life. Hopes you guys are really ready to obviously go in through and we discuss things concerning these three sets of stories. And remember, I told you in our last video that I'm going to come live, and most of you thought that I was lying, but I couldn't not come live. Every day I would like to come live twice, because I think it's going to be a better way to obviously come and discuss stuff with you guys. They've come a little bit late, but I hope those that are really asleep will have to find this video and watch it very, very well. Now, we are getting a story concerning Victor Osimhen to Arsenal and its football transfer NL, telling us that Arsenal have held talks with Victor Osimhen over a stunning move in 2024. Arsenal have held talks with him over a potential move for 2024. It would take another club record offer, but what a signing he would be. 31 goals in 39 appearances. That is Tom Weber from the football transfer in there for you. Now, Arsenal going in for Victor Osimhen. One will ask, is it really vital for the club of Arsenal to go in for centre forward? To my own understanding, I have a different view altogether, and I'm one of those people who don't really agree with the narrative being sold out there by people that Arsenal need a striker to score in all those goals. Guys, Arsenal's been here before. Can I ask you, when Aubameyang used to score 20 goals for Arsenal, did Arsenal win the trophy? Did Arsenal qualify for the Champions League? That's what people forget. That's what people forget. The game of football is going to have to shift from where people think it is. It's not all about a center forward. It's all about a collective effort for a team to have close to 5 players being able to score goals. When you look at Arsenal, last season, they went ahead and scored, let me check here. I want to be really exact. Arsenal scored 88 goals and conceded 43 goals, right? Man City scored 94 goals and conceded 33 goals, meaning that Man City scored 6 more goals than Arsenal, right? And they conceded 7 goals less than Arsenal. So it shows you that the problem was all about the number of goals that Arsenal conceded, not the number of goals that Arsenal scored. Arsenal scored the goals, and they are getting goals from every corner. Let me bring you up to speed. Zinchenko scored. I'm talking about the defenders. Gabriel Magalhaes scored like 3 goals. Saliba scored like 3-4. Benny White scored 2. Thomas Partey scored like 5 last season. Xhaka scored like 8. Odegaard scored 15. Saka scored 14. Gabriel Martinelli scored 15. Jesus scored 11. Edin Nketiah scored around 6-7 goals. Trossard scored a goal. Fabio Vieira scored a goal. Who else? Jorginho was on target also. So, all these players that Arsenal had scored a goal. And most of them scored goals. And I rather have a team whose goals are evenly distributed than having one player leading that line and obviously scoring those goals alone. I rather be that. That's what people really forget. And football's shifted from that level of having a centre forward who scores very many goals. Why do people think that a team should be having a number 9 to score in those goals? But if they go in for Victor Osimhen next summer, where does it leave Edin Nketiah? Where does it leave Edin Nketiah? Because right now, even when Jesus is really playing, when Jesus is here alone, competing with Edin Nketiah, Arsenal are not willing to start Edin Nketiah. That is it. Jesus is the main man for Arsenal. And where does it leave Gabriel Jesus? And how are they going to obviously share that? And you have to really feel a little bit sorry for Mikel Arteta, because Arsenal is really in a transition, and that transition has not yet really reached the fruition stage. Now, we all know that last season Arsenal's aims were to win a spot in the top 4 positions to qualify for the Champions League. That was their target. Jesus comes in through, changes the mentality of the players, and hints on Arsenal going for every title. Now, I really think that never mind they think about the title, but they still want to maintain their Champions League spot. That is it, because they know winning a title won't obviously come as easy as other people think. Though I really tipped Arsenal to win the trophy this season, especially the Premier League, but it's not going to come as easy as we expect it to be, and it's obviously going to be something hard for the club of Arsenal. So, Arsenal will be having the money to sign Victor Osimhen, but will Arteta take that as a priority to obviously sign Victor Osimhen? Because I see Arsenal is going to be having a very huge void in that midfield. We all know that Thomas Partey will be left with 1 year or with his contract at Arsenal by the end of the summer. By 30th June next summer. Jorginho is not going to start Arsenal. He's going to leave. Arsenal will be losing 2 central midfielders, and they'll be looking to bring in more 2 central midfielders. So, how is he going to deal with that? Arsenal will have to get in a player to play or compete with Bukayo Saka, and they might get in a high quality player, because you've seen it that Arteta is always going to hate to upgrade every season, is going to hate to sign in players at the club of Arsenal. This season he brought in Gabriel Magalhaes, Willian, and who else came in through? I think those are the 2 players he went ahead to obviously sign at Arsenal, because he never got Tielemans, he never got James Maddison by then. Now, after that season, the following season, he brought in Ben White, he brought in Lokonga, he brought in Tomiyasu, he brought in Ramsdale, he brought in Nuno Tavares, and from that season, he went ahead to upgrade the quality of what the team was obviously getting. Do you know he went in for Gabriel Jesus, Fabio Vieira, and Zinchenko? Now, this summer, that has just gone ahead to get improved, he has gone ahead to get in the following players. He has gone ahead to get in Declan Rice, David Raya, Julian Timber, and Kai Havertz. The quality of all those players is hugely immense. You all know that the quality of those players is hugely immense, not so? Now, if their quality is hugely immense, right, what do you expect him to do next summer. He's obviously going to go in for world-class players now. Like he went in for Declan Rice, Julian Timber, and Kai Havertz and David Raya. He's going to go for more players that are really proven. That's the step he's taking, meaning that if he's getting in a player to compete with Bukayo Saka, that player won't be less than 50 to 60 million pounds. If he's got in for players like Zubimendi, we'll have to break the bank to get in close to 60, 70 million pounds. Now, will there be money for Arsenal to sign a player to obviously come in through in the names of Victor Osimhen? That is the big question that we have to think about, all of us, And will Arsenal be willing to obviously not trust themselves in Edin Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus? Because the huge problem at Arsenal, it's not that they don't have players who are going to obviously score those goals. The problem at Arsenal is these players, right? These players don't create enough for the number 9. That is it. Arteta has to first solve the equation of creativity, to create chances for the number 9, and that number 9 is going to come and take those chances. You get? So, that's what Arsenal has to do first. How do they improve on their creativity? Like, look at the game of Everton. Arsenal's creativity was really cut short. If it's Man City, there is the way they can really widen that pitch in the width, like Jeremy Doku on the left and Phil Foden on the right, and they really try to spread that ball slowly and confidently, that you're going to open up. But yesterday you looked at Arsenal at a certain point, they are really fidgeting, and they made decisions they're not supposed to make because they couldn't break down that defense of Everton. So, even if you had a Haaland, even if you had a Harry Kane, even if you had a Victor Osimhen, he wouldn't have gone ahead to provide a solution in that moment. He wouldn't. So, I think Arsenal has to first find a solution for getting in their centre-forward service. I want to see Gabriel Jesus missing close to 10, 15 chances a season, or 30. Then that's when we'll obviously understand that Arsenal really needs a prolific striker. And who tells you Gabriel Jesus is not prolific, yet those chances have not gone ahead to be given to him? If you give him those chances and he misses them, then you'll raise your concern and will really listen to it. But right now, I'm paying a deaf ear to that because I believe that there is a very good player in Gabriel Jesus that lacks what we call supply. This is one of the things I'm going to have to reiterate on a lot, that it's Jesus who makes the players around him better. The players around him don't make him better. So it shows you the lack of a very deliberate plan to obviously creating chances for the Arsenal number 9. But if they get in Victor Osimhen, it will be really a very good signing next summer, as Arsenal will be having a different striker altogether that comes in to give you the energy, the intensity and the goals. Maybe sometimes you have to understand that to go ahead and obviously win the trophy, you must get rid of strikers like Edin Nketiah. That is it. But what if Edin Nketiah comes in through and gets you close to 15 goals this season? What do? Do you sell him and bring in Victor Osimhen, or you keep him at the club and obviously retain him to see to it that the team really gets better? Lots of things should change in at Arsenal. However much Arsenal is really playing good, but ask yourself, how many crosses does Ben White put into the box of the opponent? It's another huge question that has to be answered. How many crosses does Ben White put in through? How many crosses does Zinchenko put into the box of the opponent? All those are questions that need to be answered, Before you ask yourself that your team is not scoring, you have to first ask yourself, how high are our creation levels? That's the most important bit of it all. Don't just come out and really put out a statement that we need a number 9 to win the trophy. Trophies are not won by number 9s. A trophy is a collective effort. You get? A trophy is a collective effort that obviously sees very many players score goals. According to me, all what Arsenal have to do is simple. It's taking Martinelli to score 20 goals a season, add more 5 or 4 on the goals he scored last season. Even Bukayo Saka, let him add more 6 goals to make it 20, right? Even Odegaard, let him add 5 to make it 20. You know, let Jesus add 9 goals to make it 20. If those 4 players at Arsenal can get 20 goals a season, trust me, they'll have gone ahead to create demand for the trophy. I showed you here. Arsenal conceded 44 goals and scored 88 goals last season. I've gone ahead to bring you the stats. Sorry, they scored 88 and conceded 43. So, amongst those 43 goals that they conceded, there were the 3 goals they conceded against Southampton. That was supposed to be a win. There were the 2 goals they conceded against West Ham. That was supposed to be a win. So, get off those 5 goals and give Arsenal more 4 points. You know? They are almost in the same ilk with City. So, I don't want people to take it every time that it's supposed to be a centre forward. That's out. That's out. City has shown us that they can even score goals without Erling Haaland. So, a template of Mikel Arteta has to just improve. You know, defensively, keep a clean sheet, and going forward, score like 90 goals a season, and you'll win the trophy. This season only, Arsenal have gone ahead to concede 1 goal against Nottingham, 2 against Fulham, 1 against Manchester United. Those are how many goals? Those are 4. And away from home, they're not going ahead to concede any goal. So, it shows you that they are trying to keep clean sheets. They've gone ahead to keep only 2 clean sheets so far this season, and they need to call in for more to see to it that they really get to where they deserve to be as a team of Arsenal. So, to my own understanding, it's obviously positive for the side of Arsenal, and they're throwing in their bodies to see to it that they really get to where they deserve to be. And I think they just have to go ahead and obviously score those goals, because even Erling Haaland misses chances, but as he misses the first chance, the second chance is provided. As he misses the 4th chance, the 5th chance is provided. So that's why Haaland can score 50 or 60 goals a season at Man City, because City has a fluid attack and midfield that really create a lot for their centre forward, that is Erling Haaland. So that is it for Victor Osimhen, and I think if Arsenal want to pursue him, it's going to be a very good deal. But before they bring him on, they need to obviously get in that service, because even when you see Jesus off the field of play, you see to it that something is missing in those runs made by Edin Ketia. And when Jesus comes in through, you see to it that the movement is really swift, his mobility is really great, and is one of those center forwards that you don't want to face. I played football myself, but I know how hard it is to mark a mobile striker like Jesus, because you never know what's going to do. He can receive the ball in the middle of the park. He can receive the ball the wide half space. He can receive it in the right half space. He can receive it onto the touchline. So he can even come and pick it from the defenders. That is how Jesus plays. So if Osimhen is the deal that Arteta is looking at, it's a very good deal, and it gives Arsenal an option of a different striker altogether, with area threat and the ground threat. That is Victor Osimhen for you. And even this season has gone ahead to start it on a high. When you look at his stats this season, Victor Osimhen has gone ahead to see that he scores very many goals for Napoli. As for now, he has gone ahead to play 4 matches. He has 3 goals. So it shows you how high is on fire. And guess what? His team Napoli is going to play into the Champions League. And when you look at the Champions League, I want the Champions League fixtures. Napoli, when are they playing? Are they playing today or they are playing tomorrow? There is something I'm looking for here. Napoli. Oh, Napoli are playing on Wednesday. They are playing Braga. And in their group, there is Napoli, Real Madrid, Braga, and Union Berlin. So you see to it that they are going to get through out of this group and qualify to go to the next stage of the beautiful game of football. That is the Champions League that every player is excited to play in. So we leave that at that, and let's go to Ange Postecoglou, who is the Spurs manager. After winning 4 and drawing 1 out of the first 5 games of Spurs, he has gone ahead to send a warning to Spurs fans. He was asked on if the Spurs fans should temper expectations. He said, no, let them go, let them enjoy it. I've said this before, my role is not to burst people's bubbles. Let them get excited and ahead of themselves. That's the beauty of being a supporter. And I understand what Spurs are really going through. It's really a very good season for them. They've gone ahead to start it very well. But I've seen these fans of Spurs jubilate, and I just ask myself, aren't they good students of history? Last season, one of the teams that started off very well was Spurs under Antonio Conte, and they went ahead to obviously win some good games, and they were into the title conversation. By the way, they were ranked as a team that did the best business last summer of 2022, right? And everyone tipped them to come in through to obviously be competing for the league. But as things went on, they capitulated, and guess what happened? They couldn't obviously even make it to the Champions League place. They are not even playing in Europe. That is Spurs for you. So let no one lie to you that what they've gone ahead to achieve is really great. 5 games in cannot even put you into excitement. I believe Spurs fans should be excited after the first 10-15 games, because they'll show you the real image in which teams like Manchester United are really going to be in. Don't just celebrate like that, because that happiness might be short-lived. It might be short-lived. And I tell you, Ange is right, because he knows what the game of football is all about. Games can change anytime, and games do change. So having won all those points, not yet beaten, they're having their hugest test against Arsenal over the weekend. And do you expect them to obviously get out of the Emirates with a result? I don't think so. With the way Ange Postecoglou really plays and opens up like that, that's exactly what Arteta really wants. Arteta wants such teams that open up like Spurs, and is going to expose them. Trust me, he's going to expose them. So he knows exactly where he is, and I think he's going ahead to do one thing that I really respect a lot: gate a system of play for the team of Spurs. That is marvelous. That is the hugest achievement that Spurs have gone ahead to gate from this manager. It's all about him and the system of play that's going ahead to initiate at this club of Tottenham Hotspur. That is the biggest positive. Now, for Richarlison, Ange Postecoglou has gone ahead and said the following: we've got to maintain a balance in life, and that goes for him. He's still a fantastic footballer, and he's got so much to give, and that can help ease some of the burden he's feeling in other parts of his life, like so many of us. Richarlison is a good player, but my problem with him is I think his mentality should really be put right. Last season he scored just, I think, 3 goals. He scored 3. He scored 2 in the Champions League for Spurs and 1 in the league. Then this season he had taken 4 games without scoring, and when they're playing, was it Bournemouth? That's when he went ahead to obvious. Were they playing Sheffield? Yes. That's when he went ahead to score. And he scored in the 90th minute. It was a header. And again, they happened to really get a win late in the minutes. So it shows you how good this player can be if at all his mentality is right. And that goal he scored might really lift him up as they face Arsenal on Sunday. But that does not really stop Ange Postecoglou from obviously trying to make him a better player, because he was bought £60 million by Spurs, and I think he was one of the worst signings last season because of the amount of money they bought him, £60 million, and he scored only one goal in the Premier League. And people have gone ahead to compare him to people like Gabriel Jesus, yet Gabriel Jesus scored 11 goals, and Jesus spent a third of the season injured. 3 months of the season, Jesus never went ahead to play any of the games. What would have happened if Atoli was available for a full season? He would have gone ahead to score those goals in. So I think lots of things are really happening at Spurs. Positivity is there. Ange Postecoglou does not want to really put more pressure onto his players, and I know he's playing one game a week. That is obviously going to help him get to where he deserves to be with his team of Spurs. So let's wait and see what Richarlison is going to become, because Ange Postecoglou is promising us that the player is going to come good. Will he come good? We'll leave it to the manager himself. Now, lastly, as we call it quits, let's talk about Xavi. They are playing today in the Champions League, and let's go ahead and talk about one player, that is Ferran Torres. Ferran Torres is one of those players that has not gone ahead to get enough playing minutes at Barcelona. He was like, I think even Ansu Fati got a lot of playing time more than Ferran Torres, but Ansu Fati was convinced by De Zerbi to come and join the side of Brighton, and we wait to see whether he's going to be given more and more playing time at Brighton. Now, Xavi has told us that Ferran Torres told me in June that he needed to have a great preseason, and he was right. We have given him the necessary time to demonstrate his intention of wanting to do well. His attitude and work have always been there. He is and will be important for us. Ferran Torres came in from Valencia, signed for Man City, and Man City had to sell him to Barcelona after failing to obviously get into the right terms with Pep Guardiola, because Pep Guardiola felt like he needed to spend more time to really get himself into the team of Man City. But this guy, Ferran Torres, couldn't obviously wait, and he was there to see to it that he makes a movement for Man City to leave. And one thing I've gone ahead to learn about great managers, they don't keep players who don't want to be at the club. That is it. You know, Jesus was sold because of that. Sterling was sold because of that. Cancelo because of that. And Ferran Torres because of that. Zinchenko because of that. So they've gone ahead to do some good business. But that does not mean that all those players were no longer fitting the system of Pep Guardiola. But Pep Guardiola has a different narrative altogether that he really thinks about before he obviously makes you a permanent into his team. That's why you see it that some players are really taking long to fit in the system, like Calvin Phillips. He needs to prove to the manager that he's really good and that level to do the needful. So Ferran Torres at Barcelona has not gone ahead to have a very great season. When you look at last season, let me see his stats. Ferran Torres at Barcelona. What were his stats last season? Ferran Torres last season for Barcelona in the La Liga, he played 33 games, 4 goals and 2 assists. Very little. And the return was really not great. In the UEFA Europa League, 6 games, he played 2 games and scored 0 goals. Champions League, 5 games and scored 3 goals. That is really a very, very low output for a player who was going to hate to play all those number of games, because in the modern game, a wide forward is obviously evaluated all weighed according to his goals. And what were the goals of what were the goals and assists of Ferran Torres? That is the goal to assist ratio. it was really little, and he couldn't obviously find himself doing the needful to see to it that he really goes where he deserves to be, on the table of men. Now this season, I think, is going to be the final season for him at Barcelona. If he doesn't deliver, obviously he'll knock on the door and say, I want to leave. Who wants to sign him? Obviously, Arsenal have been linked to signing him, because we all know how attentive Arteta keeps his ears to the players that were once with him and working with him at the club of Man City. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Smash the like button, comment and share. Rokan David remains my name. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. May the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslim viewers and subscribers, Barakallahu Fikum. I'm calling upon your reactions when it comes to Arsenal monitoring Victor Osimhen. What do you make about it? They're eyeing him, and that's Mikel Arteta. Do you think Postecoglou will get something good out of Richarlison? And lastly, what do you make about Xavi and Ferran Torres? Will Ferran Torres come good? All that and more into the comment section below. Rokan David remains my name, and this is the Rokani Media Football. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. See you when you see me.